All right, both streams should be up and running. Got a good amount to go over today, market wise as well as play wise. And that is often the case when it comes to earnings. And we still, going into tomorrow, going to have a really big list to look at. So that's a good thing. All right, but let's go ahead and get started on today's plays. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for May 6th, 2021. We have a little less than 2 minutes left here in the day, and Qs and SPY you can see are rallying. Okay, we came into today with a bearish bias. Okay, we had the hourly sell setup that triggered. Okay, the expectation was if the sell setup is going to follow through, we should get back to low of the day. Now, Qs were able to do this, okay, in the morning. Qs were able to do this. SPY held up much better. SPY put in a higher low. Now, the line in the sand for the Qs and SPY was high of the day. If we take that out, no longer bearish, okay? And so the SPY did that already. Here, did it kind of into the afternoon here. So SPY is already no longer bearish. Qs still has a ways to go, but I think the SPY is actually leading here. And so going into tomorrow, we're going to be neutral, okay? Because equal lows and equal highs, as we have on the Qs and the SPY, even is trying to do a higher low and a higher high, right, is not indicative of bearishness. All right, so with the SPY already canceling out the sell setup, Qs seems like it's probably only a matter of time. The more time that it spins up here, we're going to go back to a bullish bias, okay? Only situation I see where us returning back to bearishness is now for the Qs underneath the double bottom, and then for the SPY, yeah, the earliest would have to be under today's low. And then even then still into some support. So that would be tough. If we do get a gap down or something that negates this green bar, sure. Okay, at least we'll have the shock value. We have a better chance of getting back to the lows. Okay, and getting through, at the very least, today's low. Okay, so back to neutral for tomorrow. All right, let's get into today's plays. Now, I talked about yesterday that I felt bad because I felt like I'd missed some things. Right, there's some things that I kind of found late that were really, really good plays. And so today, wanted to do a better job, be a little bit more focused in the pre-market at finding anything that we might have missed or anything that comes up right before the open. I tried. I didn't find anything right before the open, but as soon as we opened, the relative strength on this LUMN was very nice. Now it's a little bit of a gap as well. So this was the first play for me today, so that was good. So the kind of extra effort, which didn't pay off right away, eventually, yeah, did, right? So this was a nice base right here. Played it over 30, over 1330, stopped underneath the base. Okay, and then expecting the hourly sort of resistance that's been broken to carry through and get to a nice target, which I did take the whole thing. I was out of it here. I did not get this last little bit, but that was fine. And then a little bit of feeling like I wanted to get back in what did happen, but I knew this was a little bit too aggressive. Look at the extent of the move. Look at the shallowness of the base, right? And how little of a pullback it was. So a little bit too aggressive, that big of a move up, right? If you look at it on the 2, then it really says, this is, okay, now way too up there. So that was good way to start. Next play was the COMM. Okay, this was a base breakout here over the highs. Here's the daily. Now this would have been a better gap if we cleared 18. Didn't clear 18. I still liked it though. I still gave it a shot here. I like that we're clearing this base. It's bullish. Weekly is doing like a pullback here. See this buy set up on the weekly. So I liked it all around, and it was showing relative strength because as we saw in the market this morning, market got sold initially. It ended up turning into a breakout failure. Now, there wasn't much I could do to kind of protect against this just from, my trading plan standpoint, management plan. Some people have, if your entry bar gets negated, you can exit. That wouldn't have been that much different. I was using the bottom of the base as the stop. So this did stop on the COM. So, there's definitely some things that could have been done. I really wanted to stick with it because I like the setup. I like the daily chart showing a lot of relative strength. The timing also on this for the market was a little bit off. It was right after 10 o'clock. I think it was like 10:10 on the Qs in this morning. So it was around here. So the market looked like it may get a bounce, but this is not a good way to set a bottom here on the Qs. Notice the bigger bars at the beginning, smaller bars on the way down. So it was a little bit aggressive as far as market timing goes. You can see that wasn't the bottom. The bottom actually came up 15, 20 minutes later on this. And even then, it had to do a retest, which could also get you shaken out of some of the long plays. So I don't really have a problem with this play. I just wanted to go over, I don't think it was a mistake. I'm fine with it and the management and everything. I just wanted to go over some things that could have been done better on this. Either the management or market timing. Okay. Generally on these, because it was a gap up and it should be on its own page, I'm usually not too concerned about the market timing on this, but definitely seemed like as the market was making new lows, this failed on the breakout. Okay. And then going into lunch, this was the next play, was the QUOT. Okay. So QUOT, we just closed here at the end of the day, was a 5-minute base breakdown. This was my favorite gap down. This was my favorite gap down. So you can see the similarities here. Look at this uptrend and then this gap down ending the uptrend, right? It's like the VRSK, okay? VRSK, uptrend, ending the uptrend with the gap down, okay? So this was the, it triggered over lunch, which is fine. I don't have like any rules that say you can't play anything over lunch. But target one was 1270. I think we went 1 minute bar by bar, and I think it was more like 1280 ended up being the first trail. And then 1270 was the second trail, and then we took the last bit at the end of the day because the hourly never got taken out there. Okay, so we were just in it till the end of the day. So that was good on the QUOT. That was good. The big miss for me today was the FSLY, and I think I just was looking at a lot of stuff. And like I said today, I really wanted to focus on finding all the gaps as soon as possible. Fisley was good to play at the open. This is the kind of gap. It's a little bit big, but it's the kind of gap that we've been seeing just work really, really well, right? So, we got that big base there, and then we gap underneath it, okay? So that a lot of these on the larger time frames are now losing their uptrends on the weekly, okay? This was like the, was it the MAXR? You see this, right? It's trying to hold. Is it potentially going to hold this support? It's been trying to, and then the gap down says no, right? So that, the MAXR, the Fisley, those plays have been working really, really nicely. There were a bunch of them today. And if you feel like you're missing out and there's a lot to do and it's hard to keep track of everything, that's just earnings season, right? So you just do the best that you can, right? And that's something that I hear. I mean, Sammy's been doing it for, I don't know, 3 times as long as I have. And sometimes I'll hear him say it to himself as well. You do the best that you can. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to cover. I mean, there's earnings plays, there's gaps plays, there's scalp plays, swing plays, and, a lot of it you just get better with experience. And then, you're just not going to be, perfect. You just try to be and then do the best that you can, right? So it sounds like maybe it was a bad day. It was a good day. But it's just how you feel during earnings season. There's lots of plays. Of course, you're going to miss some. Sometimes you're going to mismanage stuff, like mismanaging the MAXR kind of, bummed me out a little bit. But because of that, I think I was able to manage the QUOT better. Okay, because it's like, I know what I'm supposed to do. If I get a good gap and it's working, and that was nice because, look, the quote, and this is a very much a parallel to the MAXR. The MAXR, I was worried that the market was going to bounce and that it would take the MAXR with it, and because I'm short, take all my profit, right? The quote, I said, you know what, this was my number one gap down. I just want to stick with it until the end of the day. I don't want to get out of it too early. Look at what the SPY and the Qs did at the end of the day. How much did the QUOT participate? Not at all. In fact, it was making new lows here into the very end of the day, right? A little bit of a bounce. So, so you know, it's you make some mistakes, but you try to kind of, you know, keep yourself from repeating the mistakes. Use them as a chance to improve or learn, or, you know, remind yourself, right, why you have the certain process and management plan that you do. Okay. All right. So we'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week. Hope you've had a nice week. Hope you had a nice day. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening.